Hello and welcome. Here we are again, another video. I've been trying to, what is it? This is like, I'm just noticing recently that like I'll start coding, I'll make a video, and then like I'll dox myself, and then I delete the video, and I've been doing that a lot more frequently lately. So forgive me for that. I don't know. I have bad habits. So I'm working on it though. Actually, as I fail, like I just get better slowly, just don't do it again, kind of a thing. But yeah, let me continue where we were. I just want to finish this JavaScript sequence on Hackerrank. I think it's pretty interesting. I'm grateful that it's there. We can look at it, but I just want to finish it. That's the thing. And yeah, so let's get into that. Let's just kind of jump right into it. So unfortunately, I was like part of the way through what I was working on, and oh no, not that one. Hey, there we go. So I was part of the way through what I was working on, and I don't want to do it again. So I'm going to just kind of jump in where I was. But so this question is binary calculator day 9. We only have 3 questions left, and then I'll probably like end this stream and then go to like another stream. And I don't know what I'm going to do in the other stream. Probably just more LeetCode problems. Like I just want to get more practice. Just keep practicing. In this challenge, we implement a calculator that uses binary numbers. Check out the attached tutorial for learning materials. Implement a simple calculator that performs the following operations on binary numbers: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Note that the division operation must be integer division only. For example, let's have some examples. Calculator's initial state must look like this. We have some IDs and some buttons. So we have a bunch of buttons. We're going to make a small calculator. We have styling that they want, and there's JS and CSS files. And there's some constraints, yeah, so don't have code for like the edge cases. What is, yeah, actually, I do need to know a little bit more about like what happens if you have a button, if you have an integer, set of integers. You have addition, set of integer, addition, integer, subtraction, integers, multiplication, and then you hit enter, and you don't have like another number for the multiplicand. How do they want us to do these things? What are the test cases they're looking for? Event listeners, we got that. Resources and tips. Oh, eval. Oh, okay. I didn't think about that. I mean, sure. Yeah, I guess so. I wouldn't recommend using eval in JavaScript though. Eval evaluates expressions arbitrarily, and so arbitrary expressions. So you can have like a whole program that you injected into your front end. If the eval function is called on that, then it'll evaluate that, and then it's not necessarily a problem, but it could be potentially. Yeah, I don't really know. I think if you use eval on your backend, I don't know what I just did, but I think if you use eval on your backend, then I think you could have a problem. But on the front end, it's probably fine. I could be wrong about that though. Sure. I mean, do we just hit crash if doesn't work? Sure. We could use employee eval. That's fine. Okay. I mean, could also just put each number into an array as well, and then process the operations directly. We don't actually need to use eval. Yeah, okay, fine. I have an idea what to do. Anyway, so just setting up the HTML, we already did that before. We have a link to our style sheet. We have a div for our result. We have a div for our buttons, like button container. We have 2 divs to split the buttons. We have 4 buttons at the top, 4 buttons at the bottom. We have our calculator JavaScript. We have script tag to get our import our JavaScript. We don't have any JavaScript written yet. We'll get to that shortly. The result, we have the different we have the different CSS specs that were asked of us here. So we have that going on. The body, we wanted it to be 33% width, and the result we have different. The result we have different. Oh yeah, I still have my email open. I should close that while I'm streaming. That was kind of the problem that I had before. So the result is our div that's going to show sort of as we're adding inputs. It's going to show up there in that result. We have our buttons. Button 0, button 1 has some coloring. These 2 buttons have coloring as well. These 4 buttons have coloring too. And then finally, the div with all of the buttons. All of the buttons should have a width of 25% and a height of 36 pixels. Font size. So all the buttons should have. So I'm not sure if we should make a class for the buttons. We can do that. Just call button class. I think that's better than, because I could add these properties directly to the div, but I don't think that's what I want. It's all the buttons in that div, not. You could also do it this way too. You could do buttons and then button, and so you want all the. So there's a way to specify that. That's actually what I was looking at before in CSS. The descendant combinators. Descendants of the first element. Yeah, span elements that are inside. That's kind of what I want, the descendant. Direct children, okay. That's kind of interesting. So we can actually do buttons, button, just like this. And that should work too. This should select properly. So we want width of 25%, height of 36%, font size of 18 pixels, margin of 0 pixels, float value left. What is float left? It's new to me. We're looking for attributes. Okay. Types? No. Transitions, transforms, text, shapes, positioning, no. Alt rules. Properties. There we go. That's what we're looking for. So we want float. What is that? What is that? Places an element on the left or right side of its container, allowing text and inline elements to wrap around it. Okay. Interesting. The element is removed from the normal flow of the page, though still remaining a part of the flow in contrast to absolute positioning. Float me. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. It's much mud in the streets, as if the waters had newly retired from the face of the earth. Interesting. Okay. So no floating text would not wrap around, and left and right text would wrap around. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. All right, I think that's it. Okay. Well, that's not what we wanted. Huh. Really? What? Really? Really? Just totally. What? Excuse me. How about this? 200. I don't know what's going on here, but this is not what I was expecting. This is just confusing. The styling is not doing anything on these. Huh. Ah, that's why. Calculator. There we go. I was wondering. It's like, how come? It's as if there's no style sheet there. Oh, there we go. Hey, it works. Look at that. Wow. That's neat. Not, in my opinion, the best coloring that it could be. I don't know what's better though. Like, I don't have a better option, but it just kind of looks like a little bit janky. You know, not janky, but just kind of, I don't know. I guess it's okay. I don't know. I don't love the color scheme, but I think the point of the exercise though is to kind of exercise a little bit of the possibilities as well. So you could have different colors, you know. So I think that's why it looks a little bit weird. It's because I don't actually know. I don't know. I don't really know. I'll just say it's interesting. But I like this. This is really pretty neat. Okay, so now we're going to add code to our calculator. So we'll have first we're going to have expression. And we're going to say it's going to be sort of like a global variable. Or, yeah, not global, but available to all of our buttons. And we're going to say for button 0, so we can say const button 0 is going to be document get element by ID button 0. And we're going to say const button 1, same deal. Have these references. We're going to say button 0 dot on click. So you can do dot add event listener, I think is what you do. You could also do button 0 dot on click, and we can write a function here, and we're going to say we can do let current number equals 0. Let's try that. On click event on button 0, we're going to take current number and we're going to multiply that by 2, and we're going to add for 0, we're not going to add anything, but on click 1, we're going to actually add 1. So we bit shift. So really you can say, probably you can do this. You could bit shift 1. Yeah. And then same deal, you can bit shift 1 and then plus equals 1. I think that's what you want to do for 1 and 0. And we're also going to update the, what's that called? What do we name this thing? The result, yeah. Call it the window or the label or the result or the, what do you want to call, what do we call this? It's like a window or the view. The view maybe. It's not a view, it's like, I don't know what you call that on the calculator, the part that you look at where you can see the numbers show up on it. It's like a frame or a view or a window or calculator view. What do they call that? Camera? No. Part of the calculator shows the numbers. What do you call that? It's a screen, maybe. Yeah, it's a screen. Interesting, yeah. Call it the screen. That's actually probably the best way to describe it. Document, by the way. I don't know how I missed that. Document, get element by ID, and this is the result. Yeah, there we go. Okay, screen. So the screen, if we're adding zeros, we're not going to update. We're going to say ignore this button if the current number is already 0. If the current number is 0, then we don't bother. Oh, yeah, we actually don't. If it's not equal to 0, then we update the result too. So we say result dot inner HTML equals, so we have current number and we have current number representation. We do it that way. Oh, I see. Yeah, well, actually you could do it this way. Whatever's already there, you just, oh, okay. You just append this new character to it. So you would add 0. Yeah, keep it really simple. Sure. Append to 0, append to 1. 0 to the current expression. Okay. Button 0, button 1. Actually, it's not result screen. Okay. So that's button 0, button 1. Now we have the other buttons, which are, we're going to reference each one. We have functionality for all of these. There's 8 buttons. So then we have buttons for button clear, button equals, button CLR, button EQL. What was I saying? Button clear, button equal, yeah. So we can call that equal, clear. There's 4 more, right? There's multiply, divide, subtract, add. Yeah, I guess we'll do it this way. Mul, div, sub, and add. Or plus or something, I don't know what they have. Or what we have, sum. Okay, multiply, divide, subtract, add. All right, let's try each of these buttons. There's got to be basically another event listener for each button. So we'll say button dot on click. For the equals, we're going to take our expression and we're going to say try catch. Actually, we don't need to do that. We can actually make it pretty straightforward. So we'll say there's going to be 4 operators. Const ops going to be make a hash map of these things. So how do you Java hash map or JavaScript hash map? If I recall what this looks like, hash. No, or just dictionary. Hash dictionary. There's like a, I don't know. We're going back to JavaScript. We want to do expressions, and we're looking for there are effectively hash maps. Map. That's what they use. Maps. Okay. Here you go. Is it a map? Object properties work for map objects as well and cause considerable confusion. Oh no, you don't want to do that. Oh, I see. You don't want to do that. No. Okay, I see the problem. I see the issue. So a map is not the same thing as key string, key object, key function. Setting the values associated with key object, map size, get and set. Okay. Yeah, this is maps are not okay. Got it. I think I understand. So JavaScript's kind of weird. I'm looking at it. Wow. JavaScript is really weird. So actually, JavaScript map is not the opening and closing curly braces. Whoa, that's just an object, actually. No, what is the... I'm so confused. What did the curly braces do in really? What is this constructor? They do have symbols in JavaScript, which is also kind of interesting. Structured data. Maybe it's JSON notation. Oh, okay. Never mind. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Oh yeah, promises asynchronous functions, right? That's an important thing too. WebAssembly. Oh, look at that. Wow. What is what? I don't know, man. I'm kind of at a loss. JavaScript curly braces. I've used them so many times, and I think I would use them as a. It's not jQuery. It's just. Excuse me. I guess it's this one, yeah. It is an object, a blank object. Why? So yeah, right. That's what I thought. I was like, wait, these are just objects. They're not maps, they're objects. There it is. Literal notation, okay. So yeah, these are actually objects, not hash maps. Why would you use a hash map versus an object? Like, why would you? Yeah, so that's like a really subtle thing that in Python it's not that way. Like why? Has pseudo class selected that specifies an element which has at least one element that matches the relative selector passed as an argument. Apply a style rule to preceding elements. Certain elements, differences tracked to web developers also generates a lot of concerns, mainly about performance complexity. These over the years, it's difficult to get this discussion moving forward. Generate performance issues in complex cases. There have been clear demands for the usage. Clarifying those concerns will be helpful to discussion. Okay. This feature, map objects are simple key value maps. Oh, okay. This confused me. That confused regular JavaScript objects are dictionaries, so how is a map different from a dictionary? Conceptually, they are identical. Documentation doesn't help either. Yeah. I'm so confused now because this whole time I've just been assuming JavaScript has maps the way that or dictionaries the way that Python does. Like I didn't realize those were full-fledged objects every time. Like I didn't realize that at all. Map objects are collections of key value pairs where both keys and values may be arbitrary. Language values, a distinct key value may only occur in one key value pair. Within the maps collection, distinct key values are discriminated using the A comparison algorithm that is selected when the map is created. A map object can iterate its elements in insertion order. Map object must be implemented using either hash tables or other mechanisms that on average provide access times that are sublinear on the number of elements in the collection. The data structures used in this map object specification is only intended to describe the required observable semantics of map objects. It's not intended to be a viable implementation model. Still sounds like an object to me, so clearly I missed something. Why is JavaScript getting a well-supported map object? What does it do? What is the difference? Map, improve our coding. Map object can iterate. For of loop will return an array for each iteration. Objects are similar to maps in that both let you set keys to values, retrieve those values, delete keys, and detect whether something is stored at a key. Because of this, objects have been used as maps historically. However, there are important differences between objects and maps that make using a map better. An object has a prototype, so there are default keys in the map. However, this can be bypassed using map equals create dot create null. The keys of an object are strings, where they can be any value for a map. You can get the size of a map easily, while you have to manually keep track of the size for an object. Use maps over objects when keys are unknown until runtime, and when all keys are the same type and all values are the same type. Use objects when there is logic that operates on individual elements. Oh, okay. How did I not know this? Iterability in order is a feature that has long been wanted by developers. It's in part because it ensures the same performance in all browsers. So to me, that's a big one. Especially handy, and also map.size property. Okay, interesting. A downside presumably is that a map requires more memory within the same order of magnitude, however, in order to maintain the insertion order. Maps have other features besides orderedness that have been mentioned here, using any object as a key, separation of keys and properties, etc. But for what it's worth, in some cases, iteration order of plain object.properties is defined by ES 2015. I did not get the meaning when you say an object has a prototype. So there are default keys in the map. However, this can be bypassed using the map. What are default keys? However, keys related to object.prototype. My test in Chrome showed that maps to not use any significant more memory for maintaining order. I think there was create an object, new map. I don't know. I don't know what they mean by default keys. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I get it. Okay, understood. So there's a difference. The main difference is that these properties are not necessarily like this is actually like a proper hash map. So whereas the object has similar but doesn't do the same things. That's a pretty key difference, is that it's not, you can use any object as a hash. Orderedness is also a big difference, and then also not knowing what the keys are beforehand, because I guess you need to know what the keys that you're going to put into your object. Excuse me. So if you're like runtime generating keys or something, so you wouldn't know them at runtime, or you would only know them at runtime. You wouldn't know them beforehand. Then you wouldn't. Yeah, you would want to do it that way as well. I guess something like that. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We'll just say I get it. There's a difference. Okay. So its constructor is not too clean. You can give it an iterable with key value pairs initially. That's pretty good. That's not too bad. There's a PolyFill in core.js, set weak map, weak set. Okay. All right. Sure. We'll use maps. So we want to use a map, and we want the following. So we want to map following characters. We want plus sign to be the well, what we're looking for is we want to map operators characters to functions. So we can actually, we can do this. That's fine. AB. Yeah, that's fine. We can just do this. So we want to do multiply, A times B, divide is going to be, and then subtract. So operations. And we're going to say when we button equal, what we're going to want to do is we're going to process the expression array. We also have a routine here, which is just it's just a function add number, which is going to take expression dot push current number equals 0, and we have another function which is add operator, and we're going to use the number. I already have the number, but the operator we're going to use a character C. It's expression dot push C, and now okay, let's do let error state. Let's do this with let error state equal false. And what we're going to say is don't push numbers or operators when in the error state. Not error state. If you're not in the error state, we can push. If you're in the error state, Now, the deal is, ensure that our calculator isn't being abused, which means ensure that either this is the first number pushed or that the calculator or that the numbers preceded an operator. Otherwise, enter the error state, do not proceed. Now, I realize this is like kind of a simple calculator and they're probably not checking for this, but entering the error state, we're going to take our screen, enter HTML, set that to error, and we're going to set the error state equals true. We'll say exit the error state. We're going to set this to empty and set this to false. Yeah. And really that's going to be when you hit the clear button. To make things more semantically clear and clean, we're going to say have a function if error state, then exit error state, and we're still going to clear the inner HTML. So this is kind of redundant, I realize, but I think this is good because semantically it's not redundant, right? This allows us to have, we know what the button clear click does. If the error state's on, we're going to exit the error state, and then we're also going to clear the screen, but also part of exiting the error state is clearing the screen. So we'll do both at the same time. You can actually make this an else if you really wanted to. That might be even better. Yeah, you can do it that way. That kind of gets you the best of both worlds. So that way, it's clear that you're only going to clear the screen if you're not in the error state. But if you're in error state, you need to exit the error state and clear the screen. Yeah, basically exiting the error state should always include clearing the screen. And entering the error state always includes setting the error state to true and setting the screen to error. Sure that either this is the first number pushed or that the number is preceded by an operator, otherwise enter the error state and do not proceed. So that's to say that expression dot empty. Can you say, is there an empty in JavaScript's array? I don't think so. Excuse me. I want to see whether or not it's empty. Flat. Oh, nice. Flat map. Oh, I see. Map first and then flatten. There's a map somewhere in here too, I think. Yeah, there we go. That's actually probably better. That's probably more what I want to do half the time instead of for each. I actually want a map. A reduce is similar to map. Not really, but no, I should say it's similar. It's not the same. It's very different. We don't have a an empty. It's actually just length. Okay, sure. If it's equal to 0, or so we'll say, or the last is a character. Character check. So in Java, excuse me, you can check if something is a character, but can you check if something is a character in JavaScript? Includes. So I guess you can't really do it that way. Instance of character. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Excuse me. I don't think this is going to do what we want. No, I don't think so. Because we want the instance of a single character, right? Type of, maybe? TypeScript. I actually don't know that much about TypeScript. I know quite a few companies want to use TypeScript, or like to use TypeScript. String, symbol, number, boolean, function, object. Yeah, so really, I don't think we could do it this way. I think and there's another way we can do this, but it doesn't quite work the way we would like it to. Really just checking if this is a character. We want to do previous. Specifically in our map of operations. Oops. Okay, what we want to know is in our map of operations whether map, yeah. What we're looking for is so you can actually set the object properties, which is not what you want to do. That's very awkward. You want to use set and get. Okay, gotta be careful. It's very awkward, but yeah, it's okay. That's what it is. Has. Aha. Value, yeah, so has a key is what you want. Has is what we're looking for. So, or ops dot has previous element. Right, basically that's an operator that we have registered. Otherwise, enter error state. Right. So yeah. So if we're not in the error state, we look to add a number. If it's the first number, then we add it and we reset our current number. If it's not the if it's not the first number, then we need to have an operator preceding it, this number. Otherwise, we enter the error state. So basically, you add a number, and then you try to add another number. That's adding numbers, then adding operators. Similar thing. We say almost the same routine here. So ensure that either this is ensure that there is a number preceding the operator is going to be pushed. Otherwise, oops, no, whoa. Oh man. Sometimes I just hit some random hotkeys and it's just like some thing just pops up or changes the UI just on the operating system of the computer. Just like some random thing happens. You're kind of just like, why is this happening? What's going on? Ensure that there is a number preceding the operator that is going to be pushed. Otherwise, enter the error state. So if you try to push two if you try to push two operators in a row, you'll enter the error state. Or if you try to try to push an operator before there's anything in the expression, you also enter the error state. All right, so if you have expression length, previous element, n-1. Oh, actually, there's a bug here. Not a bug, but a mistake. So, well, yeah. So actually, we're gonna say if n equals 0, then that's that. Otherwise, yeah. So this won't evaluate, I think, this expression at all. I wonder if that will cause any bugs. I don't think so. But yeah, we should be okay with this. Because if n is 0, then this part won't evaluate at all. But if this evaluates and n is 0, then you have a problem. So as long as n is greater than 0, which it's unsigned, so it's got to be 0 or greater than 0. So it's not 0, it means it's greater than 0. So logically, this works. So we'll do the same thing down here too. Okay. So the idea is preceding operator is going to be pushed into the error state. I think it's that simple. So number preceding the operator that's going to be pushed. C is the operator, and you also want to make sure that that's the case too. So if there are no numbers, so actually it's exactly the opposite, right? So if it's the first element, then we enter the error state, or if the last element is an operator, then we enter the error state, right? Yeah. And because we're expecting a number, we also there's another thing here too, which is yeah, and if either of these things are true, then we enter the error state, or and, I think it's and not, so is that JavaScript not? Not the bitwise not, but the logical not. Okay, it is. Can use the logical not. All right, that's what we're looking for. So, and not ops.has has C. So, well, I think that's an or, right? If we don't, yeah. So I think actually we're okay to use or here. If this is the first, element of our expression, then we enter the error state. Or if the previous element of the previous element of our expression is also an operator, then we enter the error state, right? Because we're expecting a number. Or if this is not an operator in our map, right? If this is not an operator that we're going to use, we've already programmed, then we also enter the error state. So in all those cases, we push this expression, push this character, this string, to our expression list. Okay, we don't enter the so we enter the error state or don't enter the error state. Okay, got it. So we have add our operator C, add number, and we say. So we're going to say if we hit equals, we're going to process the expression array. We'll come back to that in a moment. We click the clear button, we exit the error state, and we also clear the inner HTML. Part of exiting the error state is clearing the screen. Multiplying, dividing, subtracting, and adding, really we're just adding the character to the expression list. It would be just add operator, I think you call. You do want to add the number too. I think when you click these buttons, you would add the number as well, and then also add the operator. first add the number, then add the operator. So what else do we do? Oh yeah, there's processing the expression. That's this part is here. So this is going to be so there's a result, call it an integer, I guess. We'll say let result equal, start off with, well, yeah, it's really 0, but so for const element or x of the expression, right? We can call this an expression array, I think. Yeah, it's probably better. Call that an expression array rather than expression. So we have to modify it's different. So it's kind of like sort of like a constant, I guess. Or global, however you would like to think about it. Adding the number and adding the operator both modify this. We can actually do it here. So we could use an array. Let's do expression array. Well, that's okay, fine. Do it this way. Like what I'm thinking is actually this code we probably should actually modify an array variable that you give here, and then this is the variable that we give when we make these function calls. That way we don't need to modify this code over and over again when we change the name of the array. Something like that. I'm not sure if it really matters that much though, really realistically. It's kind of a small example that we're working with, but that is something to consider. Okay, so yeah, so this expression array, and we're going to say when we click, we're going to take each element of the expression array, and we're going to say we're going to process these values. So we're going to say it's actually more like let I equal 0, I is less than expression array dot size or dot length plus I. And we're going to say let A be expression array of, so first off, so say if the expression array dot length equals 0, we're going to say, we should probably do it this way too, by the way. Really, it's going to be something like the following. So I think there are exceptions in JavaScript. I'm wondering if I should be throwing exceptions here instead of, as opposed to not. It feels like maybe I should here, because what the problem we're going to run into is if we don't throw an exception, then we're expecting to return something here, and we're going to set this screen inner HTML to what we return. So that's kind of a thing. Yeah. Yeah, so let's try that. So process the expression array. If it's length 0, we return 0. Otherwise, we'll set our result to, I guess, to 0 initially. Or no, well, yeah, we'll set the result here. And we're going to say let I, A is expression array of I. we're going to say op is I plus 1, and then I plus 2, and we say, really we say try, I think. We just try it. If we run into any issues, then catch E if at any point parsing the expression, and then exception is throw new error, and then parsing error. And we're going to say, actually it's going to be like this. It's going to say x equals expression array of 0. And then I is going to be expression or some operator. So actually this is going to be kind of a reduction. So the operator is I plus 1. And then the next value A is I plus 2. And we say result equals result. So operator on result and A, or next value, or value. So this is, yeah, this is kind of like a reduction. And then we're actually going to increment I to plus equals 2. So we're going to, yeah. So really it should be, I guess, an even number of expressions and, excuse me, an odd number of expressions at all times. Yeah, we kind of expect that. It would be an odd number of expressions at all times. And I guess if you had 3, so 0, 1, 2, the length is 3. Evaluate, so result is the initial value, process the operation on the next value and the operator. You move I to from 0 to 2. So what's interesting is this is 1, this is 2, but we're actually going to go to 3. Is that right? Should I start off at 1 or 2, or where should something like that? I think it's actually more like this. So we remove the first element immediately, right? And then now we add 2, we're at 3. Yeah, I think this is the right way to do it. I think this is correct. So we actually sort of pop the first one immediately. Also this operation here is it's going to be our op.get, and we also have if not op.has the operation. Ops, yeah, okay. Ops. So ops doesn't have the operator. Then we're going to throw parsing error, and we're going to say ops.get the operator, and now we're going to call that with result value, right? That's kind of the reduction that we end up doing. It's not exactly a reduction though, it's a little bit more involved than that. So yeah, there you go. Process the expression array, throw an exception on any errors. So now when we click our equal button, we say try catch. So process expression array. We're going to say result. Process the expression array, and then we're going to set our screen inner HTML to the result. Otherwise, we're going to enter the error state. We click, yeah. Next thing we're going to do is when we have some other buttons to click. So when we, now here's something that's interesting. When you hit the equals button, we're going to add ensure that the number currently be modified. It's added to the expression array for processing the array. So this is going to be add number here. Process expression array, and we'll say if not in the error state, because actually you can end up in the error state after adding the number. So yeah, that would be awkward. Okay, so we hit the equals button, and then we have these other buttons to click. So what happens when we do that? So we have the multiply button. We're going to say add number, and if not in the error state, then we're going to add operator. Multiply. And this is pretty much the same thing for each of the other buttons. Alrighty. So multiply is the multiplication operator, divide, division, and subtract, and add. And actually, you can make this even a little more compact by doing by actually adding the same expression. You can just make an add operator, or just sort of operator event function if you wanted to, and have them all of these have the same one. And you can, instead of having an add operator here, you could just make the inner HTML, which is going to be the same character for all of the respective characters for each of them. So yeah, you could just make this the inner HTML of that element, and so you wouldn't need to duplicate this code. But that's just fine. I think there's only 4 of them. So all right. Yeah, so let's see if this compiles. Start with that. Let's try rendering. Oh, look at that. Wow. A few problems here. This goes off the edge. A few issues. One, yeah, this goes off the edge. And two, the clear actually should clear the inner HTML. It's interesting that it doesn't do that. Oh, button clear, that's why. That's why. Okay, oh no. Oh, we did these things. Hmm. 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 That's a bit strange. Type error, button equals null. Oh. Hmm. Ah. Okay, I see. So that's why part of the code was not compiling. Oh, look at that. Error. Oh, I see. Nice. Oh, if you're in the error state, that's interesting. So that's fun. And not error state. Right, so nothing happens if you're in the error state. I think add number doesn't do anything if you're in the error state also. Yeah. Did that on purpose. To have redundancy in our code. Make sure we catch these cases properly. So that's kind of weird. I don't know why. Also, I think they wanted our. Oh no, no, it is on the left side. Okay. Also, the add operator. We also need to add to the screen, which I missed that part as well. Hmm. Yeah, I missed that. Undefined. Oh no. Okay, where is the... I'm not supposed to get undefined. We plus on click button add operator. Now that's a little weird that this isn't giving me kind of what I expect. So let's try that. Get some debugging here. It's taking me a lot of time though, I have to say. So 1 plus 1. Okay. 1 plus 0. Oh, right. 0 doesn't do anything if it's already 0. Undefined. Okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe the issue is that I just didn't hit the render button before. That could be it. Undefined. Okay. How did we get undefined? We hit the equals button. Process expression array. Okay. So we did 1 plus 1. Length is not 0. Start off with 1. Expression array, so I is 1. We say this is the operator, the next value. And then we say if ops doesn't have this operator, throw a new parsing error. So this will catch this parsing error and then throw it upwards again. And where are we calling this from? The equals. And we catch that. So I don't know what's happening. When do we have something that's undefined? Let's try this. Let's do console.log test. I have an idea what could be happening, but I don't really know. Okay, that's interesting. So we did, oh, well this should be, well that's clear. Try again. Okay, 1 plus 1 equals test. Alright, so we got undefined somehow. Now my question is why or how did that happen? And hour and a half in now, okay. So test, okay. Oh, I see. Well, test 2 and test 3. Result equals result. Okay. What happens if we do this? Undefined. 1, 3 result undefined. So we got through this block. Where is it? So 1, 3 result. So ops.has operation, that was true. So it had this operator, this operation, and then we called result with value on this operator with this function. So I guess my question is, what are these things? Ops.get op, and then what was the result? What was the value? What are these things? So I'm thinking there's maybe some, yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is. I can kind of guess, but we'll have a better sense once we print this information here. Oh boy. Whew. Test 1, test 3 result undefined. Okay, I think my function calls weren't registered yet. All right, we got a few things here. So, all right, something crazy is going on here, but ops a length name. Oh, yeah, a plus b. Let me just see something here. If we just say, oh, I'm gonna charge my headset, so you guys are gonna hear a sound while it's being charged. A slight buzzing, if you will. Let's call it testing. And we're gonna say ops.get plus on 1, 2. So we should get 3. Wondering if this works at all in the first place. This works as I expect it to. Undefined. Okay, that's why. So this function, what's the issue? Now, how come that doesn't work? Because I would expect that this works. I would expect that this works. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Maybe we need this. Maybe that's the problem. Nope. Is it the function itself, maybe? Maybe we need a return statement. This is not Ruby that we're dealing with. That might be why. That's probably why. I think I see the problem. So, very interesting. Yes, so Ruby and JavaScript are not the same. Ruby doesn't require a return statement there, but JavaScript definitely does, it seems. JavaScript, though, doesn't have these characters, typically. The semicolon. We got disconnected. Get reconnected? Okay, looks like we're back. Welcome. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Yeah, so it looks like, right, Ruby and JavaScript are not the same when it comes to these inline functions. So you do need a return statement for this part. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. All right, so let's get rid of our debug code from before. And let's see. We don't need all of that. So, yeah, okay, back to what we were doing. Let's see what happens here. 1 plus 1 equals 2. Minus, we get errors. A few things also. Oh, you know what I'm also missing? Process the expression array. Also should clear the expression array. Ensure that the expression array is emptied as well. And then, yeah, that's also another key thing that we need to remember to do, is to actually clear the expression array. Otherwise things get really strange. Where else do we want to modify the expression array? I don't know if this is the cleanest way to do things. It's probably not the best way. I think there's probably a better way to handle all of these things. Process expression array. What do we want to do? Clear it. Right. So when you, I think when you hit equals, you want to clear the expression array. I think that's the only time you really do that. Also, when you hit the clear button too. Current number equals 0. Expression array equals. Maybe there should be like a clear state kind of a thing. What should happen here? Really, I don't think it's exit. I don't think it should be exit or exit error state. It should just be clear state. Calculator state. That's probably better. Set the screen, set the current number, set everything to 0. And that's so we can kind of forget about if you're in the exit state or not. We don't really care. We just, when you click it, you clear the calculator state, and that's that. So you enter the exit state and then the error state. And there's no exiting the error state, there's just entering it. The only time you exit is when you click clear the calculator state. I think we want that behavior too, as well. I think that's a little bit easier to understand. One times 1, 0 is 2. Now, okay, we do 1 plus 1 times 10. Oh, that's interesting. So the number, we could print the number, but it's supposed to be all in binary though. That's the thing. So we would say, actually what you print, you convert back to binary. So the result, when you hit the equal button, actually make that a binary number. So JavaScript sort of has a 2 binary, and also the sun's getting my eyes here. Excuse me. The 2 binary that we're looking for. Excuse me. How about printing? Display. ToString is what we're looking for. I see. So you can do ToString with a radix. So you do number.ToString. So we can just, okay. So we can say, whew. Let's try that. Okay. Okay, but the thing that's interesting is processing the expression array. It's actually, it should be the following. So you actually aren't going to set the expression array back. What I think you ought to do is, let's go find our expression array, and let's go to our equals button, and we're going to actually update the expression array, contain only the result. In the event there is some error regarding processing the expression, reset the expression array preemptively. Yeah, so just the whole thing gets cleared. That's a subtle detail that we're actually gonna keep our results between executions. One plus. Okay, what? Error. 1 plus. Why? Let's start again. 1 plus 1 plus something else. What's the issue? Oh, I see. I think it's this that's causing an issue. What's the problem? I don't actually know what's going on. See, we try to figure it out. So 1 plus 1 equals plus gives you an error. So you hit equals, and this result is here. Why does that happen? I don't think that the toString doesn't change what this variable is pointing to. You could check that. I don't think that's how that works. String representing the specified number object. Yeah, okay. And then what? When we hit the plus button afterwards, we have an error. So we have add number, which we shouldn't be in the error state. What happens to add number? Oh, that's the issue. Right. Oh, I see the problem. That's very subtle, but a couple things. Adding the number, but the current number. No, that's why. Oh, I see. I see. Empty. Take the current number. That's why. That's why the behavior is very odd, or seems very odd, seems very strange, because that's actually what we're going for. So we want that current number to be equal to oh, look at that. I was supposed to have integer division at the end of it. Actually, these are supposed to cause errors. Jump to the error state. So what's interesting is this didn't seem to happen. This part. Also seems to be a bug. I think this isn't working the way I expect it to also. I want to something else here that's not working the way that I expect. Oh yeah, we should actually fix the integer division as well. How do we enforce integer division? Oh yeah, I think we use a floor. Yeah, math.floor. Yeah, because you don't really have integers exactly in JavaScript. Yeah, I figured that would be kind of a small change, quick change. There we go. Okay. So if you do like 5 divided by 3, right? So 5 is 101, divided by 3 is 1. There you go. Okay. So this should enter the error state. This just shouldn't happen at all. So what's happening there? So we add an operator. Oh, I think it's because you add a number. And then you're in the error state. So you don't add operators yet. So you add a number. I think that's why. I think because you enter the error state here. Where's the, what is the, let's try this again. What's going on? So you do 111 plus 0 minus false, false. So this just says false over and over again. Is that what we expect? It's the add operator, okay. So the operations.has this expression false. So that's super interesting. It's extremely interesting. So I think it makes sense to be false the first time, but it should not be false at other times. So let's clear. So 1 plus should be false there. And then when you do perform plus again, it's still false. Okay, that's interesting. So what do we have though? I think it's because you're adding the number first before you add the operator. So there's actually a number. Oops. Yeah, this is probably not the best way to have written this. I don't know exactly what the best way would have been. It looks like this is sort of bug prone, error prone kind of a thing. Uncaught reference error expression is not defined. Oh, okay. Let's try that again. Okay. So this is right, because yeah, you add a 0 first. That's why. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. So yeah. Okay. Right, because the default is 0. Also, I'm wondering if if we should start off with 0 in the initial state here. No. So adding the operator, actually this check you need to perform before you add the operator. Or before you add the number. Yeah, actually I think we should call the add number as a subroutine. Okay, there's a number preceding the operator that is going to be pushed. Ensure that the character to be pushed is in our operator map. Let's enter the error state. Actually, the way this works is yeah, it's pretty awkward. So really, it should be null, I think. That is very interesting. So really it's null. Current number is null. And you'd say, when you press your buttons, for 1 or for 0, if current number is equal to null, then okay, yeah, this is what we want. If a number hasn't, so we use null to specify that we haven't set a number yet. And I'll show you why we want to do it that way. The reason we want to do it that way is because when we are operating here, so add a number. Let me say if that number is null, so if current number equals null, then we enter error state and return. There we go. That's what we want to do. And so yeah, so we can actually have these operators add number first. And where's our add operator? We can then leave this as it is. Yeah. These checks should not be necessary, as typically for a function. So number preceding the operator that is going to be pushed. Since make a call current number for processing. Checks shouldn't be necessary. So add number first here. Okay. So that should make things a little bit better, I think. Let's see how this goes, sort of the flow of things. 1 plus 1 equals plus 1 plus. No! It's not working! No! There's debug somewhere around here, debug code as well. Can get rid of that debug code. Okay. Part of the issue too is when you add an operator, you should actually set the number to null. I think when you add a number, it should set that to null. It shouldn't be 0, it should be null. That's the one. I think this is what we need. This should also be null. When we push this current number, or current number is not equal to null, or is equal to null, or not equal to null. Really should be and. Could be either of these things. We also need and current number is not equal to null. If current number is not equal to null, then you have an issue. Yeah. Yeah, so if your current number is null, well actually, no, never mind, we already took care of that. Right, so we know it's not. Okay. 1 plus 1 equals 2 plus, no! This is about, why is it working? Come on, man. This is driving me crazy. Come on, really? What is this logic that's causing me issues? So this should just enter the error state. Oh, I think I see the issue. Yeah. Well, this doesn't. First off, this doesn't enter the error state. This continues here. Which is weird. And then second, like, yeah, I don't know. Ah, this is so annoying. I also don't like this, like, constantly jumping back and forth to render and re-render to test. It's really annoying. I like being able to kind of tab between what I'm working on and test it and tab and test and that kind of thing. Ah, what is going on? Why is this not doing what I'm expecting it to do, or what I would like it to do? 1 plus 1 plus plus plus. Error. Oh. 1 plus 1. 1 plus 1. What is going on now? Now it's doing really strange things. 1 plus 1. Oh boy. 1 plus 1. Whoa. No. It's happened. Now it's happening. Brother, what are we doing? What is happening? I don't know. I'm so confused. I think I... Okay. I think sometimes this render button... I think I either forget to use this render button or I think that's what it is. 1 plus 1. Oh, I see. Oh no. I see the problem. This is oh, this is so annoying. Ooh, excuse me. I think I get it. I see the problem. It's okay, but it's a lot of things that I wasn't considering. A lot of things that I was not considering here. So when we set the inner HTML to 1, that's a tricky thing because okay. Ignore this button if you're in the error state. Actually, no. If it's 0, yeah, adding zeros doesn't matter. Excuse me. Actually, in every case, this is the same. This should be the same. Yeah. Yeah, it's confusing also. Okay. So really you would do, it's not equal to null. You do this, otherwise you set it to 1. we do the same thing here. Right. I think this is the correct thing to do. Yeah. Otherwise it behaves in a way that we're not really expecting. Okay, 1 plus, so we can 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3, 1 plus plus. There. Oh, there we go. Okay. 1, 0 plus plus. Okay, that was a little weird. You say 1, so equals. How did we get? That was a bit strange. At some point we. Wait, what? Oh yeah, okay, that's fine, I think. Alright, I think it's working how we expect. Yeah. It's a little bit confusing overall. I'm trying to find a case where oh, okay, how about this? We get error 1, 2, 3 plus 1, 2, 3. No, I don't know. Anyway, what are these test cases that we have? So we have 1011 plus 1,000. Oh, my neck. Ow. Actually, I think I'm like making it worse. I'm kind of just things that I'm doing to my neck. I think I'm making it worse. Okay. 1,011. That's what we expect. Okay. We have 1,101. 1,101 times 3 ones. Should get 4102102 Yeah. Okay. And then we also want C11. There we go. Okay. All right. Let's go for it. I don't know what this is gonna look like. This may or may not work correctly. Pretty interesting though. I get this uncomfortable feeling it's not gonna be correct. Probably not. But I don't know what test case they're going through, you know. Oh, accepted. Hey, sweet. Nice. Hey, that took a while, man. How did we do? We had 2 hours we spent on this. It's pretty involved. I don't know. There's probably a better way to write the code. I think I wrote it in an okay way. I don't really know, like, that error state, maybe I should have made that a function just to check like the error flags. Generating test case images. Okay, it's going. We got 30. That's good, I think. And what's kind of funny about this is like, what's funny about this is that like it's very likely that the code they wrote to actually perform this probably has a lot of bugs itself. Very likely, just because of how it's, how I guess it's kind of a new thing. There's only two problems on the entire site that use it, I think, or 3, something like that. Only a handful of problems that on the whole site actually use this this approach to submit the solutions. In this challenge, we learned about JavaScript dates. Check out the attached tutorial for more details. Given a date string in the format month, day, year, year. Find and return the day name for that date. Each day name must be one of the following strings: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. For example, the day name for the date 12/07/2016 is Wednesday. It's still going. Maybe we should refresh this. Oh, accepted. Okay. Success. Huh. Interesting. They have a few different. Okay. I see. So these were the different click sequences. The pictures are interesting. There you go, worked. Alrighty. So these the only cases they had were creating a number, adding another number, hitting equals, creating. Oh, I see. Adding part of another and multiplying, then adding, and then creating another number, hitting equals, and then finally clearing it and hitting a bunch of buttons again. None of the test cases started with a 0, which is interesting. So all the things that they had started with a 1, which was kind of ambiguous what the case would be if there were zeros to start with. And then also, there weren't any error states either. So all of that error handling, input, error handling wasn't really touched. But so I probably didn't need to spend so much time, but I'm glad we did. Glad we kind of learned about it a little bit more. How I would prefer my calculator to work. Okay. Given a date string in the format month, day, year, year, find and return the day name for that date. Each day name must be one of the following strings: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. For example, the day name for the date 12/7/2016 is Wednesday. Input format. Locked subcode in the editor reads the following input from standard in. The first line contains integer d, denoting the number of dates to check. Each line I of the d's subsequent lines contains a date, month, day, year, year format. Each date denotes some date string that is passed to the function. It is guaranteed that the input only consists of valid dates. The function must return a string denoting the day of the week, corresponding to the date denoted by a date string. Okay. Function is called for the following d equals 2 dates. The date 10/11/2009 was a Sunday, so we return Sunday. date 11/10/2010 was a Wednesday, so we returned Wednesday. Wow, you know, I have so many complaints in my mind. Like, sorry, it has nothing to do with what I'm working on. I just have this like kind of a habit of like my mind just goes off into a dark place for brief moments, and has a lot to do with like pain, you know, and also like emotional pain and pain, thinking about the future and thinking about the past and all those things. So it's just really, it's really related to pain, and like I said, I'm in a lot of pain. And like mental and emotional pain, I guess, like just thinking about things that are painful. So yeah, so often though I become angry, right, when I think about these things. And one of the things that like really helps a lot, and it just struck me now, was like, you know, everything that happens in the universe, God already ordained those things to happen. So like, even though you might be in a lot of pain, this is how God intended things to be, which is really interesting. Like, it's a really interesting thing to think about. And like when you think about time too, that like there's no going back in time. So like whatever happens is exactly what God intended to happen. Like, that's it. There's no way of changing it or going back or what have you. And you might think like, oh, I could have done things better, I could have done things differently. And like, yeah, it's true. However, like the results as they are what they are, like are what they're supposed to be. Like if you're a loser, you're supposed to be a loser. If you're a cripple, you're supposed to be a cripple. You're supposed to experience a lot of pain. You're supposed to experience a lot of pain. If you're supposed to do some really dumb things that caused you to experience even more pain, then that was what you were supposed to do, ultimately, in a cosmic sense. Not like in terms of your responsibility as a person, you were probably not supposed to do things that made things worse. That's not true. Like, you're still morally responsible for the wrong decisions you made. However, having made those decisions and not being able to change them, like, they are what they're supposed to be. Evil or otherwise, wicked or otherwise, unwise or otherwise, right? It's just how it is. So that's something that just a moment ago found some comfort, because I was kind of tormenting myself with my own thoughts, and I realized, hey, it's how it's supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be, you know, not exactly what you wanted, sort of. Yeah, the disappointment you experienced, you were supposed to experience that, and the bad decisions that you made, you were supposed to make those bad decisions. Strictly avoidable and strictly bad decisions. You know, having already done that, that's what it was supposed to be, which is interesting. In this challenge, we learn about JavaScript dates. Check out the attached tutorial for more details. Tasks: given a date string in the format month, day, year. Find and return the day name for that date. Each day name must be one of the following strings: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. For example, the day name for the date December 7th, 2016 is Wednesday. Lock stuff code in the editor reads the following input from standard in. The following line contains an integer D denoting the number of dates to check. Each line I of the D subsequent lines contains a date in month, day, year format. Each date denotes some date string that is passed to the function. It's guaranteed that the input only consists of valid dates. The function must return a string denoting the day of the week corresponding to the date denoted by a date string. Okay, so this is like a classic problem that most programming languages have some built-in date-related functionality, so you don't need to go try to program that again on your own, which would be a nuisance. So the function is called for the following dates. D equals two dates. The date was Sunday, return Sunday. This date was Wednesday, so return Wednesday. So I think we went over this with Java. It took me a really long time. It's a pain in the neck with Java, or it was a pain in the neck. I think the reason was that the months were zero indexed, and I didn't realize that. But again, there's like a date object in Java, a date class in Java. So I think there's probably also a date class in JavaScript that we can use. And so we have Input string current line, read line, function, process, sure, encoding, use strict. What does that do? Also use strict. Use strict. What does that mean? JavaScript exception, use strict, not allowed in function occurs when use strict directive is used at the top of a function with default parameters, rest parameters, or destructoring parameters. Strict mode. Use strict directive. Function, use strict. Okay. It should be in strict mode, and the entire script or enclosing function is also okay to be in strict mode. You can move the use strict directive outside of the function. Strict mode. See the default non-strict mode referred to as sloppy mode. This is an official term, but be aware of it just in case. Sloppy mode. Let's try not to be in sloppy mode. JavaScript strict mode introduced in ECMAScript 5 as a way to opt in to a restricted variant of JavaScript, thereby implicitly opting out of quote-unquote sloppy mode. Strict mode isn't just a subset, it is intentionally has different semantics from normal code. Browsers not supporting strict mode will run strict mode code. Different behavior from browsers that do, so don't rely on strict mode without feature testing for support for the irrelevant aspects of strict mode code and non-strict mode code can coexist, so scripts can opt into strict mode incrementally. Strict mode makes several changes to normal JavaScript semantics, eliminates some JavaScript silent errors by changing them to throw errors, fixes mistakes that make it difficult for JavaScript engines to perform. Optimization, strict mode code can sometimes be made to run faster than identical code that's not strict mode, and prohibits some syntax likely to be defined in future versions of ECMAScript. Transitioning to strict mode, if you want to change your code to work in the restricted variant of JavaScript. Invoking strict mode for scripts, strict mode for functions, strict mode for modules, classes, changes, converting mistakes into errors. So there's a lot going on here. Simplifying variable uses. What else do we have here? Make eval and arguments simpler. Arguments and eval less bizarrely magical. Magic with behavior in normal code. Add or remove bindings to change binding values and arguments by its index properties, aliasing named arguments. Magic. Interesting. Securing JavaScript. Secure JavaScript. Now provide ways for users to write JavaScript to be run by the website on behalf of other users. Browsers can access the user's private information, so such JavaScript must be partially transformed before it is run to censor access to forbidden functionality. Makes it effectively impossible to do this without many runtime checks. Certain language functions are so pervasive that performing runtime checks has a considerable performance cost. If use strict mode tweaks plus requiring that users submitted JavaScript be strict mode code and that it be invoked in a certain manner substantially reduce the need for those runtime checks. Interesting. Oops. I don't really understand that, but that's okay. Paving the way for ECMAScript versions. Strict mode in browsers. I don't really know. I'd have to kind of sit and read all what strict mode means, but basically it's different. It's a subset of JavaScript, or excuse me, it's a changes JavaScript so that certain things are there and certain things are not. Interesting. Okay. Sure. Yeah, I was wondering what that was. Read line. Get date name. Days of the week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Alright, so there's almost certainly like a date class in JavaScript. Date. Yeah. You can probably close all of these too, by the way. Really don't need all those open. Oh, actually, I wanted to kind of read some of those things. Symbol. Guaranteed to be unique. Okay, yeah, we have this in, actually we talked about this before. There are symbols, and Ruby I think also has symbols. Quite a few. Yeah, symbol wrapper object. There's a symbol registry. Actually, I think it's maybe just JavaScript that has these symbols. I think there's symbols in Ruby also, but I guess, yeah, symbols for JavaScript. Sometimes you want unique symbols, unique names, I guess. They're not even names, they're just unique. I don't even know what you really use them for exactly. But they are just, yeah, unique symbols. Add unique property keys to an object that won't collide with keys any other code might add to the object and which are hidden from any mechanisms other code will typically use to access the object. Enables a form of weak encapsulation or a weak form of information hiding. I mean, I don't really know. What is it? It's add unique property keys to an object that won't collide with keys any other code might add to the object. Huh. I thought you had to key off properties with strings, but I guess you can use symbols too. And other code might add properties. Okay, I think I understand. Weak information hiding. Yeah, I guess, I don't know. I don't really get it. I guess the idea is if you automatically generate properties, it's possible that you know, you can end up bumping into that symbol, not a symbol, but into some random string that you already have set. Something like that. I don't really know. I don't know. I'll just say it's not a use case I've run into personally, but it's interesting. So, oh, you know what? Actually, I think I get it. I think the reason for the symbols probably has something to do with using objects as hash maps. That might be why. Like without a proper hash map, then maybe you need to use something a little bit more fancy to get things to work. That could be why, given that the entire internet operates on JavaScript. Yeah, maybe that's why. Okay, I get it. It seems like a subtle edge case, but maybe it's a little more complicated than that. I don't know. We'll just say I don't know. It's fine. We don't need to get crazy thinking about this. So, yeah, make ourselves crazy thinking about it. So, JavaScript date objects. Yeah, well, I guess what I want to say is, like, it's not a use case that I've personally run into, but I can reasonably assume that other people have run into that use case, and that's that. I'll leave it at that. JavaScript date objects represent, and they've run into it enough where it created enough impetus to actually add that. Date objects represent a single moment in time in a platform-independent format. Date objects contain a number that represents milliseconds since January 1st, 1970 UTC. Epoch and timestamps, date and format, and time zone conversions, date constructor. Called as a function returns a string representation of the current date and time. Returns a new date object. Static methods. Now parse the string. Oh. Okay. Parsing of strings with date parse is strongly discouraged due to browser differences and inconsistencies. UTC, get date, get full year, get hours, get minutes. So we should have getters and setters, I suppose. Yeah. Set the day of the month for a specified date according to local time. Set full year, get year, set hours. Set date, a month, set time. UTC, hours. Okay, probably just want to. I guess we want to use the constructor probably, and we'll just parse the dates. We're on the same page, huh? Yeah, looks like it. Yeah, same. Yep. Data instance that represents a single moment in time. Contains a number. You could do date, value, date string, year, month, day. That's what we want. New date, year, month, day. And the index, month index, right? Again, index, so yeah, okay. We'll just parse here, so it's month, day, year, given string. So we're going to split. So let split result date string dot split on this character, and then we're going to say we're going to use structured binding here. So we're going to do month, day, year, we'll say. Is equal to split result dot map, and the function we're going to map is going to be x, we'll say 2 turn plus x. Yeah. Yeah, parse, right, that's it. And then we just want the day, get day of the week. Get day. How about get day name? Oh, yeah. Oh no, that's us. Okay. Get day. Weekday number, and then return actually all these things are I think you can just perform structured binding like this in JavaScript. It looks like you can. Really don't need that object, do we? Beyond getting the weekday number, and then yeah, sure. Weekday name. Yep, that's pretty much it. Okay, something like this. correct. Let's go for it. And the last one should be, in this challenge we practice using arrow functions. Check the attached tutorial for more details. Complete the function in the editor. We should actually check arrow functions again. There was a question that I had that I was kind of confused about. Compact alternative, it's limited and can't be used in all situations. Interesting. Can't be used as constructors. And so what's interesting about the arrow functions is that the return statements, you don't use the opening and closing curly braces and no return statement. This is the way to do it. If you use opening and closing curly braces, then you need to have the return. The body requires additional lines of processing only to reintroduce braces plus the return. Arrow functions don't magically guess what or when you want to return. Okay, yeah. So that was what I did incorrectly before. I had the arrow functions I set up and I forgot to use the return. Simple expression is not needed. Simple expression is not needed. But if you have a body, you need a return statement. Yeah. By the way, the magic part here with arrow functions, it's interesting that they point that out. Ruby actually does quote unquote magically know what to return because it just takes the last thing, takes the last statement, last expression, and returns that by default, which is interesting if you don't specify return. Yeah, pretty neat. Pretty neat. Okay, I kind of just want to clarify that. All right, nice. Arrow functions complete. Yep, here we are at the end. Almost done. So in this challenge, we practice using arrow functions. Check the attached tutorial for more details. Complete the function in the editor. It has one parameter in array nums. It must iterate through the array, performing one of the following actions on each element. If the element is even, multiply the element by 2. If the element is odd, multiply the element by 3. The function must then return the modified array. Interesting. The first line contains an integer n, denoting the size of nums. The second line contains n space-separated integers describing the respective elements of num. So 10 numbers. They're between 1 and 100. Nums is the ith element of nums. Return the modified array where every even element is doubled and every odd element is tripled. Return the modified array where every even element is doubled and every odd element is tripled. Is it the index is even or odd, or is it the element itself? So even is doubled and odd is tripled. Okay. Neat. This is the last one we're writing here, so that's kind of fun. So new line, split number, map number. Oh, I see. That's interesting. Modify array of a dot toString dot split on commas, join spaces. I see. Modify and return the array so that all even numbers are doubled and all odd numbers are tripled. Okay, sure. Sure. So just map, right? Return nums.map, and we want an arrow function, right? So x, it's going to be, if x modulo 2, or if x and 1 equals 1, so it's odd, we're going to return, I said odd is times 3, otherwise I actually probably should do something like this. Yeah. How about that? How about that? Okay, I think that's it. Alright, so we're done with the JavaScript section. So that was interesting. That was fun. 10 days of JavaScript. That took more like 3 or 4 days, I think. It took us a while. It took me quite a few days. Next challenge. Algorithms. Okay, hard. So we just right on to the next set of things. Oh, look at these pictures. Yeah, neat. All right. Let me go ahead and take a break. I need to go get food. I think I kind of want to just take a break, get food, and then maybe I'll come back and take a break, get food, come back, and probably just go to sleep after that. I think I want to go to bed. I think I've had probably enough for today. What did I even do today? I kind of just had a couple of calls, setting up meetings, organizing things. Interviews, I guess. Yeah, setting up interviews, and studied a little bit earlier today. I think I deleted the VOD. That's part of it. Had breakfast, listened to some preachers, watched some things on YouTube. Spent a lot of time watching things on YouTube. Complained about my neck. Did some complaining. Yeah, I think the plan is to get just get food, probably go to sleep. I think that's it. I think I'm torture myself a little bit here and there. Torture myself with my thoughts. Just thinking about what to do here. I guess that's it. Yeah. So, hey, we did it. Solved the JavaScript challenges. That was challenging. Wrote a small calculator. That was interesting. Also, I think the logic we probably could have programmed that a little bit better. I don't really know exactly what I would have done differently, but I'm sure there were small improvements we could have made. So yeah, take care and have a good rest of your day.